Hello. My name is Nikola Arangelovich, and this is Arangella. Today we're going to be cutting out shoulder pad for the shoulder strap for this briefcase. I make sure that my thing is muted on here. I'm going to eventually figure out how this audio thing works, so I can have some music on here nicer and all that. Let's see. Okay, some water. Good news is I'll be improving the audio pretty soon. I just ordered a new mic and everything, so I'm pretty stoked about that. We're not going to have this like crappy high-pitched audio, so that's pretty cool. Alright, we're going to be cutting this out of two different leathers because I've got a bag that I'm making for myself and a bag that is going to be the one I'm going to drop on the website. So we got to cut out two out of two different leathers, and let's go. Do that as if I'm going to cut, but I'm not going to cut. I'm going to move you over to here. So I appreciate anyone who's been sticking with the streams, even though I know the quality isn't overall isn't incredible, but for anyone who's been sticking with it regardless, it's pretty cool. Okay, first I'm going to make sure this is a straight edge. We need to cut out a rectangle that is 2 1/4, I think. 2 1/4 by 6 1/2. Okay, that is a straight edge. I wish this was 2 1/4, but alas, it is not. So what we're going to do, I think, is we're going to go ahead and we are going to cut, we're going to square this off here. And we're going to be dyeing this black. I'm going to see if I can actually film dyeing it, because the dye table's on the outside of the shop. I don't know how it's going to look, but we're gonna experiment a little bit. You'll get to see how I dye things. Especially this one's going to be simple because it's very small. When it comes to big pieces, that's when it starts to get a little more complicated. But for this, I'm going to be able to dip dye. It's going to be nice and easy. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and square that off. Now I can use that straight edge, and I need to do... Okay, so the cool thing also about having this cutting mat with straight edges on there is that I can use it. Let's see here. That's 10 inches here. So 3/4. So basically, I can use the lines on my cutting mat to kind of do the measuring for me. And then, so that's, and then use my straight edge to perfectly square up everything. Because I know that the piece is square with the lines, so that's going to be the perfect 2 3/4 inch. And I just realized it's actually It's actually 2 1/4 because it's going to be 1.5 inch oblong holes in the middle, and then there's going to be 3/8 of an inch on either side. So 1.5 plus 3/4 of an inch is 2.25. Okay. Well, that's a classic Nikola move, but what I can do why don't I go ahead and now cut this at 6.5, and then I'll use my wing dividers. I might want to make this longer, because we're talking about a big strap. You might want to have it be a little longer. So it's going to go on to this strap, right? So I want to see, like, maybe I should just make it this full length. What would that be? Of course, it's going to be 10.5 inches. I mean, versus 6.5, which would be like right there, which I feel like is not really that big and not really enough to like properly distribute the weight of this strap. I think I'm going to make it longer. I think it's going to be nicer. Okay, so now again I can use this. I think I should go ahead and make it. Yeah, why not? I'll do. So instead of 6.5, we're going to do 10.5. Remember, be patient when you're cutting. It's okay to go multiple passes, because what you don't want to do, if you're really trying to get that cut out, and in fact that just happened, if you want to cut that out in one pass, the knife can jump and cut your finger, and also your straight edge can slide and you can fuck up your whole piece and you got to start all over again. So you want to really make sure, just go low blade angle, so as much of this blade is on this side of the straight edge as possible, and just go really light, even if it takes you 10 passes. Okay. So what now? What now? I know what. Let me go ahead and groove this. Sorry, again, a little out of it, but we'll be okay. It's just been one of those weeks, eh? I'm also gonna, I think, just ever so slightly round these corners. Not a lot, but just a tiny, 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 teensy-weensy bit. Like that. Alright, now we're going to hit it with the groover. I'm going to just start at one end. Trying to get those corners as originally I was going to kind of go around, but it's not enough of a curve to really do that. Alright, it's pretty simple. I think I'm also going to go ahead and bevel the top. The reason for that is that if I don't bevel the top after I dye it and finish it, when I dye the top, you're more than likely going to see this color on here. Now that doesn't necessarily matter. Like, it might look cool. Yeah, let's roll with it. Okay. So, we did that one. I'm going to do this next one now. And to be honest, I don't really have that much prepared for this episode. And I've got an order I need to fulfill, so we might switch gears and do that, but I might also just kind of be like, whatever, and do that on my own time. I don't know. It might be a super short one today. Who knows? I know I should have this stuff planned out, but Okay, so this is the leather that I'm using to do the other one. So, now how funny would this be if this is not long enough to do 10 inches? It should be. Okay. This is all roly-poly. This one I don't have to dye for obvious reasons. So again, low blade angle. And it's almost going to sound like it's not even cutting at first. But just... Actually, I could probably do with replacing this blade. We've got a tough piece here. Okay, usually it doesn't take that many passes. I'm going to go ahead and replace this blade. I've used it quite a few times now. Should take my own advice. New or sharpened blade every single time. So, just went ahead and replaced the blade. This should cut through here right away now. Yeah. Okay. So that's a clean edge. Now I'm going to go ahead and cut, square it at one end. why not? Let's square it at this end. Also, here's a good tip when you're cutting long pieces like this. This is especially useful on leather that tends to ripple. Okay? If you put your finger down like this, you tend to avoid a big problem. Like, let me show you on this leather. Okay? So that got a super, super straight edge. Now, if I do the same thing on this side, okay, never mind. Watch, I'm not going to be able to... I'll just show it on this leather, because this is what I'm going to be using, so... Oh. Jesus, I'm totally out of it, because I just... Whatever. We'll do 2 3/4. I think the bigger the better on this, on these shoulder pads for the... Oh. Alright, well this piece isn't even big enough. Alright, I've got some more in here somewhere. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with me this week, but jeez. Okay, we're gonna do this whole thing over again. I don't know what's going on with me. Trim that off. All right, we are going. Good God and gravy. We are going to do this. This is a little bit of a straight edge. Yeah. Okay. We're going to cut that's a little sus. We're going to go ahead and just cut a fresh edge on this guy. And then we're going to do 10.5 there. Okay. So all right. Okay, I'm going to line up with the squared edge that I made. Excuse me. Just make sure everything's good. Go ahead and make a mark right there so I know where to cut. And now, this is one of the benefits of training yourself to be ambidextrous. as a leather worker, you want to be able to use both hands when cutting. Even if you hold it slightly weird with one hand, which I am definitely guilty of doing. I hold it more like a frickin' monkey would hold a stick than with any kind of skill or finesse with my right hand, but despite that fact, I'm still able to get really good control with my right hand. About as good, maybe not to this quite to the same degree, but about as good as I can with my left hand. Alright, there you go. That is another shoulder pad. And these things are going to be lined in the corresponding suede color. So, like, once I dye the Veg Tan one, which we're dyeing it black to match the rest of the bag, I'm going to line it in blue suede and sew it with blue stitching. And for this one, the whole bag in this color is going to be lined in purple suede, so this is going to be purple suede and purple stitching. Which I guess I could actually do now, but I haven't cut anything else out of the suede from the purple, so I don't want to. Yeah, I don't want to do that quite yet. So I know this was a short one, but I think I might literally just. So this is a good lesson for everyone. Don't half-ass anything. Don't go into anything unprepared. Because I didn't really know what I was going to do today. I had to cut these shoulder pads out, but since I didn't really come into this more prepared than this, we're at like 22 minutes and I'm kind of just like, okay, I'm kind of done now. You know? And I actually ended up curving these corners more. So I might as well. Alright. There you go. This will be lined in purple. And there's not really much else to do. I mean, I gotta dye it, so I might try and move you guys over and see how this works. I don't know how it's gonna work, so if it looks crappy, I apologize. But I gotta turn some lights on. Okay, we're going to move some things around temporarily. This is my kind of glue setup. Some guys. Alright. Now, we're going to take this goober and we're going to get moved on over and hopefully, well, not hopefully, I mean, we're going to dye this. Okay. Okay, we're being taken into a place we've never been before. Shiitake mushrooms. We're going all over the place here. And I'm just making sure it actually is on there. It is. Okay. Cool beans. I'm going to take some gloves and yeah, this is my very simple dye setup. Alright, I don't know if I have any more blue dye. If I do, I'm going to dye this in blue first because it gives a deeper black when you go over with black. Let's see. Okay, I do. You know what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to dye it in blue, and instead of waiting for it to dry, I'm just going to immediately then dye it in black. Okay. I don't know if I've actually ever shown this on camera. This is called dip dyeing, so I got a Tupperware here. I've got a little thing of deglazer when I want to clean it out, when I want to switch colors. This is straight veg, 4 to 5 ounce from Herman Oak. And what that means is that there's nothing stopping it from soaking up stuff like dye. So that's it. You just hold it down under for a second. You get it fully submerged. And now what I like to do is just wipe up a rag. I like to wipe off any excess, and now don't do this like how I'm doing it. Use ventilation. This stuff is not, it's technically toxic. So you want to use some ventilation. I'm usually only dyeing for like 5 minutes, so I don't need to necessarily, but if you're able to, do it, or wear like one of those fancy ventilators. I don't have one of those, not a ventilator, one of like the filter masks that you see people who are sanding use. I don't even know what those are called. So this is just a mechanics funnel. I got a pack of these at my local dollar store, I think, or at the local auto parts store maybe. I don't know, it was a while ago. It's great for funneling stuff in there. Always use a funnel when you're using dye, because this shit will get everywhere. Okay? So, wiped off the excess. Now, you could let it dry, but since I'm going to be dyeing it again, and I kind of want to just get this portion done. This is a gallon of black dye. When I bought this, okay, so there's two kinds of dye from Phoebings. There's the leather dye, and then there's the pro dye. When I bought these, I needed a ton, and I accidentally bought the leather dye instead of the pro dye. And it was too expensive to return, so I just used the leather dye. The main difference is that, like, one uses worse quality compounds. I think one is alcohol-based, and one is water-based, I think. But regardless, the Pro Dye is better, and it gives a better color. When it comes to black, it doesn't necessarily matter, because black is kind of just black. You know, and once you put the finish on there, you won't be able to see the difference with black, but if you're using any other color, I would say go ahead and use the Pro Dye. That's what all these other ones, see how it says Pro Dye versus leather dye? So all my other ones are Pro Dye. And you can get them in these little like 4-ounce things, which are, I think, probably the best for people who are just starting out. Okay, so yeah, we're going to go ahead and re-dye this now in black. Okay, and just let it kind of sit for a second, and then we're going to go ahead and wipe off the excess. Go ahead and do the same thing. This side, off the foil. Now, usually I would have paper. Usually I'd put like butcher's paper over this. Honestly, I haven't gotten around to it. I had to switch out the paper at one point or another. It was just like nasty. And I just kind of never got around to doing, to putting new paper down. Okay, so now, something I've started to get into the habit of doing now is I'll take this rag and I'm going to wipe up any excess that's in the container, and I do that primarily because I use the same container for different colors, because I don't really have the money to go out and buy a bunch of expensive Tupperware to have in all the different colors, you know? Because, I mean, Tupperware is expensive, man. And then also, like, for the big projects, if you want to dip dye, you have to have all the other, you have to have all the really expensive big containers. So, yeah, so I like to just wipe it out. Gets most of it out. If I need to do, like, a really deep, thorough clean, I'll take some, let's see, where is it? Okay, I don't know where it is right now, but it's just this thing called deglazer. Think of it like rubbing alcohol. It's basically like a super intense rubbing alcohol for cleaning up dye and other like chemical messes from the different parts of leatherwork. It can also like take off a finish or whatever. But I'll take that and take a fresh rag and just put a little on there like I would rubbing alcohol. You could actually probably use rubbing alcohol, and I'll give it a good wipe, and that really picks up everything out of the container. But yeah, so, and then gloves. If I'm going to be doing a lot of dyeing in the same color, I'll just pull them like that, inside out, and I'll just lay them here. Just like that, and I'll just leave it there. And I'll just put them back on in reverse, right? I'll turn these right side out and put them back on if I need to dye anything in the same color. One thing I can say, even when dye looks dry, it will transfer. Never use the same pair of gloves for two different colors. Even if you have them sitting there for a while, even like a month or a year, and you put them back on to use a different color, never do that, because the dye is never dry. It always transfers, and you're going to dye something in green or red, and you're going to have black spots everywhere on it because the black dye you used a year ago is still fucking transferable. So, just a little tip from someone who's gone through that many times. Now we're going to get moved on back over. We're going to switch over to this. I think that's going to be, got only 35 minutes, but I don't really have anything else to do today. So I got this order that I need to do that I'm definitely going to work on later. We were working on this a little bit the other day. Okay, no, I'm going to switch it to the other camera. It won't even pick that up. You see that? That's the logo. And then sorry, just listening to the music. Yeah, so these are pretty cool. Yeah, so that's kind of the only other thing I have to work on today, and to be honest, it's just something where I need to just kind of put my head down and do it. So yeah, that's probably what I'll work on today, and I'm sure I'll do some reel or some short or something, so you'll see it. Yeah. What else? I don't think there's anything else. So I hope you guys enjoyed this super short live today. We're going to be coming back hard next week. And we might even get to finishing this bag next week. That could be cool. Yeah, I think we'll get to finish this bag next week. So, and then I think I got something really cool to work on after. Someone's asking about a really cool custom thing. Pretty stoked about. All right. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you next week. Have a wonderful weekend and a wonderful Friday. Peace.